Right now, somewhere in this country, there is a retired man or woman sitting at their kitchen table opening a bank statement and quietly wondering why their Social Security check is smaller than it should be, or why a payment they were expecting never came at all. And the frustrating truth, the thing nobody warned them about, is that in most of those cases, the money was there. It was sitting on the table, waiting for them to pick it up. They just did not know about a requirement they were supposed to meet, a rule that was always in the fine print but never in the conversation. Today on Prime Move Guide, we are going to go through every one of those overlooked requirements, the ones that cost real people real money every single month, so that you do not become part of that story. Welcome back to the channel. I am glad you are here because this video is one of the most practically important ones we have put out. We are not talking about vague financial advice today. We are talking about specific Social Security rules that millions of Americans either do not know about or misunderstand, and which are quietly draining money out of their retirement income right now. If you have been collecting benefits for a while, if you are about to start collecting, if you are divorced, widowed, still working, or have a spouse who is planning to claim, there is something in this video for you. And the chances are high that at least one of the things we cover today is going to hit close to home. Before we dive in, if you are new to Prime Move Guide, this is where we cover retirement, Social Security, Medicare, and all the financial pieces that actually matter when you are living or planning to live on a fixed income. Hit subscribe and tap that bell notification so you never miss a video. We focus on clear, practical, no-fluff content, and we want you to be able to use what you learn here the same day you watch it. Now let us get into it. The number one most overlooked Social Security situation, the one that affects more people than any other on this list, is spousal and survivor benefits. The statistics here are actually staggering. A significant portion of the nearly 641,000 people who currently receive spousal or survivor benefits on an ex-spouse's earnings record are women, and research shows that the people reaching Social Security eligibility age right now are still part of a generation where it was common for one spouse, often the wife, to step out of the workforce to raise children or care for family members. That means there are millions of people out there who have a thinner earnings history of their own and who may be leaving significant money behind because they do not understand how spousal benefits work. Here is the core rule that a surprising number of married retirees do not know. If you are married and your spouse is collecting Social Security retirement benefits, you may be entitled to a spousal benefit equal to up to 50% of your spouse's full retirement age benefit amount. Not 50% of whatever they are currently receiving, 50% of what their benefit would be at their full retirement age. This distinction matters because if your spouse claimed early and is receiving a reduced amount, your spousal benefit is still based on the original unreduced number. That is a meaningful difference for a lot of couples. But here is where people make the costly mistake. A lot of spouses try to claim their spousal benefit early, at 62, thinking they will just get the money sooner. What they do not fully understand is that claiming your spousal benefit before your own full retirement age permanently reduces it. Specifically, if you claim a spousal benefit at 62 with a full retirement age of 67, your spousal benefit could be reduced to as little as 32.5% of your spouse's full benefit instead of 50%. That is a permanent reduction. You do not get it back. And here is the second thing people get wrong on spousal benefits. Unlike your own retirement benefit, there is absolutely no reason to delay a spousal benefit past your full retirement age. Delaying your own benefit past your FRA earns you delayed retirement credits of 8% per year up to age 70. But delaying a spousal benefit past your FRA earns you nothing. Once you hit your full retirement age, you have maxed out the spousal benefit. Waiting longer does not increase it one penny. So, the strategy with spousal benefits is simple. Wait until your full retirement age if you can, but do not wait past it. Now, let us talk about the Social Security requirement that is probably the most widely overlooked among divorced people, because the rules here are genuinely confusing, and most people have no idea they even have options. If you were married for at least 10 years before your divorce was finalized, not 9 years and 11 months, not 9 years and 364 days, but at least 10 full years, you may be eligible to collect Social Security benefits on your ex-spouse's earnings record, and your ex does not have to know about it, approve of it, or even be informed. Your benefit claim has absolutely no effect on their benefit amount. None. They lose nothing. And you gain access to potentially a much larger monthly income than you would receive on your own earnings record alone. The divorced spouse benefit works the same way as a regular spousal benefit. You can receive up to 50% of your ex-spouse's full retirement age benefit if you claim at your own full retirement age. You must be at least 62 to claim, you must currently be unmarried, and your ex-spouse must be eligible for Social Security benefits. But here is a rule a lot of people do not know about. If you have been divorced for at least 2 years and your ex-spouse is at least 62, you can actually claim your divorced spouse benefit even if your ex has not started collecting yet. That prevents a situation where a vindictive or uncooperative ex-spouse could delay their own benefits just to block yours. The 2-year rule protects you. There are currently about 641,000 people collecting spousal or survivor benefits on an ex-spouse's record, and the vast majority of them are women. But experts believe that number would be far higher if more divorced individuals understood what they were entitled to. According to AARP, women make up about 95% of those collecting these divorced spouse benefits, and many of them did not discover they were eligible until years after they could have been collecting. Think about that. Years of missed monthly income, simply because nobody told them this benefit existed. Now, let us shift to something even bigger and even more commonly misunderstood: survivor benefits for widows and widowers. Because this is where the stakes are the highest and where the cost of getting it wrong can be truly devastating over a lifetime. If your spouse passes away and they were receiving Social Security, you as the surviving spouse may be eligible for up to 100% of the benefit they were receiving. Not 50% like the spousal benefit, 100%. And this benefit can be claimed as early as age 60. Not 62 like regular retirement benefits, but 60. Or age 50 if you have a qualifying disability. The critical thing to understand about survivor benefits is how dramatically the timing of your claim affects the amount you receive. If you claim survivor benefits at age 60, you will receive approximately 71.5% of your deceased spouse's full benefit. If you wait until your full survivor retirement age, which follows its own schedule and may differ from your regular retirement FRA, you can receive the full 100%. That difference between 71.5% and 100% is not a small gap when you are talking about a benefit you may collect for 20 or 30 years. And here is where the most powerful strategy comes into play, one that a lot of widows and widowers do not know about. You can claim survivor benefits and your own retirement benefit at different times. Specifically, a widow or widower can start reduced survivor benefits at age 60 while letting their own retirement benefit grow, earning those 8% per year delayed retirement credits until age 70. Then, at 70, they switch from the survivor benefit to their own, now maximized retirement benefit. Or if their own retirement benefit is much smaller, they can do the reverse. Take their own reduced benefit early while waiting to claim the full survivor benefit at their full retirement age. The point is, you have flexibility to choose which benefit to take first and which to delay. And using that flexibility intelligently can add up to tens of thousands of dollars over a retirement. There is one more critical survivor benefit rule that catches people completely off guard, and it is one of the most financially dangerous Social Security mistakes you can make. If you are widowed and you are thinking about remarrying, you need to know this before you set a date. If you remarry before age 60, you permanently lose your eligibility for survivor benefits on your deceased spouse's record. Permanently. There is no reinstatement later. The cutoff is your 60th birthday, not the date of the marriage. So a widow who remarries at 59 years and 11 months, even if that marriage ends in divorce 6 months later, loses her survivor benefits forever. On a survivor benefit of $2,400 per month, experts have calculated that this one decision could mean losing more than $500,000 in lifetime income if the widow lives into her 80s. That is a retirement-changing mistake hiding inside what should be a happy life event. The good news, if you remarry after your 60th birthday, your survivor benefit is completely preserved. The new marriage does not affect it at all. Now, let us talk about the earnings record requirement, because this is one that affects people who are either still working or who had periods of inconsistent work throughout their career, and it can permanently affect how much you receive for the rest of your retirement. Your Social Security retirement benefit is calculated based on your highest 35 years of earnings, adjusted for inflation. Every year, 35 of them. If you worked fewer than 35 years, the SSA fills in zeros for each missing year when they calculate your average, and those zeros drag your benefit amount down significantly. If you had 30 years of solid earnings and 5 0 years, your average is being pulled down by 5 years of nothing. For some people, Even a few extra years of work at a modest income can meaningfully increase their lifetime benefit because they are replacing those zeros with actual earnings. But here's the thing that even people with long work histories miss: your earnings record may contain mistakes. The SSA's own research has found that errors in Social Security earnings records are more common than most people realize. If your employer misreported wages, if there was a payroll error, if you changed jobs and something got lost in the transition, or if you worked under a different name and the records were never linked correctly, any of those things could mean you are being paid less than you are actually entitled to. The impact of one missed year of high earnings on your lifetime benefit can be thousands of dollars. And the only way to catch these errors is to review your earnings record, which you can do for free by logging into your My Social Security account at ssa.gov. Financial experts across the industry strongly recommend reviewing your earnings record annually, especially in the years approaching retirement. You are looking for years where your reported earnings seem too low, years that appear to be missing entirely, or any income that does not match your own records. If you find a discrepancy, you can contact the SSA at 1-800-7721-213 or visit a local office. It is much easier to correct these errors before you retire than after you have already filed for benefits. Documents like W-2s and tax returns from prior years are your proof, so it is worth keeping those records if you are in your 50s or 60s and approaching your filing window. Let us move to the earnings limit requirement, because this one catches people by surprise every year. If you are under your full retirement age and you are still working while collecting Social Security, you are subject to what is called the earnings test. In 2026, if you are under your full retirement age for the entire year, the SSA will withhold $1 in benefits for every $2 you earn above $24,480. So, if you are collecting Social Security and you earn $40,000 from a job this year, the SSA will withhold $7,760 from your benefits. That is half of the $15,520 gap between $40,000 and the $24,480 limit. That is real money that is gone from your monthly checks, and if you are not expecting it, it can make your budget very difficult. The rules ease significantly in the year you reach your full retirement age. In that year, the limit jumps to $65,160, and the withholding rate drops to $1 for every $3 earned above that limit. And once you actually hit your full retirement age, that birthday month and every month after, the earnings test disappears completely. You can earn any amount from work without any reduction to your Social Security benefit whatsoever. The SSA also gives you credit for any benefits they withheld under the earnings test by recalculating your monthly benefit upward once you reach full retirement age. But the key thing to understand is the timing. If you are claiming before your full retirement age and you are still bringing in income from work, you need to know the 2026 earnings limit and factor it into your financial planning. Here is something that millions of people also overlook: the requirement to report changes in your situation to the SSA. Social Security has specific rules about what kinds of changes you are required to report, and failing to report them in a timely way can lead to overpayments that the SSA will then require you to pay back, sometimes years later. The kinds of changes you need to report include returning to work if you are receiving disability benefits, a change in your marital status, changes in your living situation if you receive supplemental security income, a change in your direct deposit information, and a change of address. Overpayments happen when the SSA is not informed of changes that affect your eligibility or benefit amount. When they discover the overpayment, they can withhold a portion of your future benefits until the overpayment is recovered. This is not a situation you want to find yourself in, especially on a fixed income. The SSA introduced a new system in April of 2025 called the Payroll Information Exchange, which allows wage information to flow directly from employers to the SSA with your permission, helping to prevent overpayments for disability benefit recipients who also work. But for most retirees, the responsibility to report life changes remains yours. Keep the SSA informed promptly, and if you are ever uncertain whether something needs to be reported, it is always better to call and ask than to assume it does not matter. Let us talk about the Medicare enrollment requirement and the late enrollment penalty, because this one hits people right in their Social Security check without them even seeing it coming. When you turn 65, you become eligible for Medicare. If you are not already receiving Social Security retirement benefits at that point, Medicare enrollment does not happen automatically. You have to actively sign up during what is called your initial enrollment period. That window runs from 3 months before your 65th birthday through 3 months after it, for a total of 7 months. If you miss that window and you do not have qualifying coverage from an employer, you will face a late enrollment penalty for Medicare Part B that increases your premium by 10% for every 12-month period you were eligible but did not enroll. And that penalty is permanent. It stays with you for the rest of your life. In 2026, the standard Medicare Part B premium is $202.90 per month. A 10% penalty on top of that adds over $20 per month. A 20% penalty adds over $40 per month. And because this penalty is deducted directly from your Social Security check, people are often shocked to find their benefit amount lower than they expected without understanding why. Missing the Medicare enrollment window is not something you can fix later without cost. It is a requirement, and the window is specific. There is also the income-related monthly adjustment amount, often called IRMAA, which is a higher Medicare Part B premium charged to beneficiaries whose income exceeds certain thresholds. For 2026, the standard premium applies to individuals with annual income up to $109,000 and married couples filing jointly with income up to $218,000. Above those thresholds, your premium goes up in tiers, and those higher premiums come directly out of your Social Security check. Many people are surprised when they get a notice about IRMAA because it is based on your income from 2 years prior. So your 2026 Medicare premium is based on your 2024 income. If you had a one-time high-income event in 2024, like selling a home, taking a large IRA distribution, or having a business transaction, it may have pushed you into a higher IRMAA bracket this year, even if your income is now much lower. You can appeal an IRMAA determination if your income has since changed significantly, and that appeal can be worth pursuing if the difference is substantial. Now, let us talk about the claims coordination requirement that married couples almost universally underestimate. When both spouses are eligible for Social Security, the decision about when each person claims is not two separate decisions. It is one combined household strategy, and the stakes are enormous. Consider this. The maximum monthly benefit in 2026 at full retirement age is $4,152. If you delay until 70, that number rises to $5,181. Now consider the survivor benefit. When one spouse passes away, the surviving spouse keeps the higher of the two monthly benefit amounts. So if the higher earner in a couple claims at 62 and gets a permanently reduced benefit, and then passes away, the surviving spouse is locked into collecting that reduced benefit for the rest of their life. But if the higher earner had waited until 70 and was receiving $5,181 per month, that is what passes to the survivor. The difference over a widow's 20 or 25-year retirement could easily exceed $200,000 in total lifetime income. The most common strategic mistake couples make is both claiming at 62 because they can without running the numbers on what that means for the survivor. Experts generally recommend that the higher earner in a married couple delay claiming as long as financially possible, ideally to age 70, specifically to maximize the survivor benefit. The lower earning spouse can claim earlier to bring income into the household while the higher earner waits. This kind of coordinated strategy requires a conversation, some planning, and ideally a session with a fee-only financial advisor who specializes in Social Security. But for most married couples, it is one of the highest value financial decisions they can make in all of retirement planning. One final requirement that wraps everything together, staying on top of your Social Security account. Every one of the issues we have covered today, spousal benefit status, earnings record errors, Medicare premium adjustments, payment notices, fraud alerts, COLA updates, all of it flows through the My Social Security portal at ssa.gov. If you have not created your account, or if you set it up with an email address you no longer use, you may be missing important communications that affect your money. The SSA sends digital notices before paper ones, and in some cases, the digital notices are the only ones that go out. Setting up your account, verifying your contact information, and checking your message center every few months is the single simplest action you can take to protect everything we talked about today. Before we close out, I want to say something directly. The requirements and rules we covered today are not simple. They are genuinely complicated, and the fact that so many people overlook them is not a reflection of how smart or careful they are. It is a reflection of how poorly these rules are communicated. Most people find out about spousal benefit strategies or the divorced spouse option, Or the remarriage age 60 rule, not from the government, but from someone they know, a video they stumbled across, or an advisor they were lucky enough to meet. That is why this channel exists, and that is why you showing up here and learning this stuff matters. So, now I am asking you to do two things before this video ends. First, leave me a comment below. Tell me which one of these requirements surprised you the most today. Was it the divorced spouse benefit, the survivor benefit remarriage rule, the earnings record errors, or maybe the spousal benefit timing strategy? Drop it in the comments. I read every single one, and your responses genuinely drive the content we create next. This channel grows because of conversations like that. Second, please share this video. I mean it more than I usually do when I say that. Think about the people in your life who could benefit from watching this. A sibling who just went through a divorce, a widowed parent who might not know about the survivor benefit strategy, a friend who is about to claim at 62 without doing the math. Send them this video right now. Text it, share it, post it. You could be saving someone from a financial mistake that costs them hundreds of thousands of dollars over their retirement just by tapping share. That is a pretty incredible thing you can do for someone you care about. Thank you for being part of Prime Move Guide. We will see you in the next one.